accuses others of lying and inappropriate behavior. Yet, Fani Willis and her lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, they're not just accused of having an intimate relationship, but they're also accused of the exact or very similar things, the types of underlying conduct that they're prosecuting in the election interference case against former President Donald Trump, as well as many other defendants. And so a lot of people are like, man, isn't this hypocritical at the very least? So, wow, things are literally going from bad to worse for Fani, with perjury charges hanging in the balance for Nathan Wade and Fani Willis. Many are now asking, will either of the two face jail time? And Trump DA Fani Willis's credibility has been shot over this whole messy testimony. It's getting wild, guys. Two witnesses who have testified last month during a days-long evidentiary hearing on the matter, they have now cast doubt on the Fulton County DA Fani Willis's story, making it very clear that someone is lying under oath. Wow. I mean, this is like more and more corrupt as the days pass. And boy, do I have some shocking new evidence that I just can't wait to share with you guys. It literally just dropped during a recent hearing that you are not going to believe. Now, before I get into that, all I ask is that you take 1 second, drop a quick like for the video. I totally appreciate that, you guys. And, I want to thank you so much for sharing this video. We have got to stop this corruption. So what exactly is perjury? Well, perjury is the act of knowingly making false statements while under oath or affirmation in a legal proceeding in signed legal documents. And get this, guys, this is what's really important here. Not only is perjury a felony in the state of Georgia, the punishment varies depending on the effect of the false statement. In most cases, the judge will have the option to sentence you to a fine or imprisonment, aka jail time. So the fine cannot be more than $1,000, but it has no minimum fine. Now, despite the legal stories, basically the legal experts believe that the likelihood that Fani Willis or anybody else involved in this case will ever face any kind of perjury charges over their testimony is slim to none. Now, you might ask, are Fani Willis and Nathan Wade above the law? I mean, the woman is putting people in prison. Just think about that for a second. This is the same woman who's putting people in prison. So I'm gonna let you guys think about that. But let's get into the bombshell evidence, this bombshell new evidence that was recently uncovered, which has opened up a whole new can of worms for Fani and likely anyone else in connection with Fani Willis's office. So let's go ahead and listen in here.
Gone back and reviewed all of the Fulton County Commission's minutes and records to see what requests were made and if there was a resolution granting the additional funding.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Was there ever a request for additional funding for a special prosecutor to pursue these election cases?
No, there wasn't, and I knew that before we got the district attorney's response, but subsequently we got a response from the district attorney's office that said, we didn't do it, we don't have to do it, I'm a constitutional officer. So their argument was, we don't have to comply with those statutes or those rules because she's saying she's a constitutional officer, so she doesn't have to get county approval.
Wow. That certainly sounds like someone believes that they are above the law. They don't have to get county approval. We'll use the funds however we choose to. We make our own rules. Is that how this works for certain people? I don't know.
She can spend her.
Now, by the way, before we get any further into this, I want you guys to understand that the female voice that you're hearing, this is Ashley Merchant, and this is literally a Senate hearing, a Georgia Senate hearing for the DA Fani Willis investigation. So this is a hearing that is taking place.
Constitutional officer, so she doesn't have to get county approval. She can spend her budget however she wants.
Then why would she have gotten county approval for the the other 55 attorneys.
So what I've surmised is that was because those were staff members, and so she went and asked for additional budgetary money. She needed a higher budget. So for those 55 people, she went and asked for more money because she didn't have enough money. And once she was awarded that, it's her position now that she can spend that money however she wants.
Doesn't have to use it for 55 new staff. She can use it for special attorney general.
Yes.
Not attorney.
Whoa, guys, I've said this a million times. I'm not an attorney, but if you request funding, if you're requesting money, and on your request for this additional funding or budget, you apply for this budget under the pretense that you need to hire 55 new individuals for a particular reason. If you then get approved for that money, if you use that money for anything other than the reason why this money was approved, isn't that unlawful? Wouldn't that fall into the category of fraud? I mean, what state are you guys watching this video from? I mean, like, are the laws that different from state to state? In the state of Georgia, I don't see how this is going to fly in the least bit. But listen to what comes next here.
Have to use it for 55 new staff. She can use it for special attorney general.
Yes.
Not attorney general.
Special
DA.
counsel,
Okay,
right, yes,
counsel.
essentially. That is their argument in their reply briefs that they filed in court, that they have inherent authority, they don't have to comply with the county ordinances, don't have to comply with the statute.
So they don't have to comply with our state statute.
That they have, once they're awarded the budget, they can use that budget however. I mean, how their motion, and I'm happy to send the motion, it's public record, but how their motion argued it was, if they get $5 million, they can pay that to one person if they want.
Now, the senator that is questioning Ashley Merchant during this hearing is sarcastically or rhetorically asking the question of, if you're requesting money for hiring 55 new council members, but then you take that money and go ahead and use it in any other way that you happen to choose to use that money for, in this particular case, to go ahead and hire, Nathan Wade, a special prosecution attorney, she can go ahead and do that. He's very sarcastically asking this question because he already knows the answer is, if you ask for money for a particular reason and you use that money for some other reason, this is kind of like, this is out of bounds. It's like, getting a foul ball in baseball. So
As long as because the voters authorized her to do that. So the county, their position is the county authorizes a budget and she can pretty much has inherent authority to do it however.
Even though she specifically asked for the money to prosecute backlogged homicide cases in Atlanta.
Yes.
wow. So requesting budget to address backlogged homicide cases in Georgia and then funnel all of this money to your boyfriend? Really? Like, did anyone really think that this is going to fly? And what's really interesting here, so for a lot of you guys might not know, and I want to get you all up to speed, right? So Ashley Merchant, she may very well have created a significant enough diversion to completely let Trump off the hook. Now, what's really wild about this whole situation is that, there's so many different things that are wild about the situation, but one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't even realize what's happening here is that Ashley Merchant is not even Donald Trump's lawyer. In fact, Ashley Merchant is the attorney for Michael Roman. He's one of the 19 other co-defendants that originally indicted in the case, along with former President Donald Trump. So she doesn't really represent Donald Trump, but what she is doing is creating a significant enough diversion to get a lot of heat off of Trump. We haven't heard Trump's name in days related to this this Georgia election interference case with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. We've been hearing way more about Nathan Wade and Fani Willis than we have heard about Donald Trump. And as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure, unless this judge has a really interesting, creative way of looking at this, I cannot imagine how this case continues without getting everything thrown out and, at a minimum, having to rehear this case with a different group of prosecuting attorneys, which would take quite a while for a case this size, this level of this high profile case to be rebuilt by a new attorney or team of attorneys. This would likely end up pushing a new case probably after the 2024 presidential elections, which by that time, if Donald Trump happens to become president of the United States, well, good luck prosecuting the president of the United States. And he would have a whole lot more pull to essentially make this problem go away, so to speak, right? But there's a lot more that I want to share with you guys. So listen to what comes next.
What's your opinion on that? You think the statute or county procedures permit that?
No, I do not. And I cited several different county ordinances. So when I read the statute, when I read 15-1820, and it makes sense, it makes sense intuitively. As lawyers, when we bill, someone is reviewing our bills. I mean, that's just, that's the process. If you're in private practice, your client authorizes your bills. If you're doing public defense, which I've done public defense, I've done appointed work, the governing agency approves my bills, and they will cut them. They will regularly cut them if they're too high. And so there's always some type of budgetary authority that's reviewing everything. So I thought it was very strange that in this case there isn't one, and that there's really no oversight because it is public money. So I know that it's an elected official, but it's still public money. And I don't live in Fulton County, so it would probably aggravate me more if I did.
Wow. So what she's saying is this is public money. And while she is an appointed individual who is holding this particular position, she still has to follow the rules. And there are clearly some rules that are being omitted. And the argument that she's bringing up here is that it appears as though the money that was collected, the money that was actually approved and provided was for one specific purpose, but instead this money was redirected to your boyfriend. And the typical, according to what Ashley Merchant is saying here, it surely sounds like what she's saying is that the typical procedure for approving budgets or billing, what Ashley has shared with us is she has done public work, and basically whenever she submits a bill, attorneys often bill by the hour. It might be, $100 an hour, $150 an hour, $250 an hour. In the case of Nathan Wade, it's $250 per hour. And what she's saying is, generally speaking, and you almost can't really use absolutes, but generally speaking, 99.99% of the time, whenever you issue a bill as an attorney and you're billing by the hour, you are indicating, you're itemizing the work that was done within these hours. And according to the data that we have, or according to what has been shared in testimony during this trial, it looks like the hours that were submitted by Nathan Wade and ultimately approved by Fani Willis without any other oversight have had no details in terms of what work was done for the hours that were billed. And this does not look good at all. Now, I just want to take a second. Waylon Jennings, thank you so much for the massive $20 super chat. You are amazing, and I totally appreciate that. You appreciate me, according to your comment, and I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this live. We are literally, I promise you guys, I've said this 100 times. This is a soap opera, and I'm just waiting to see what director or movie producer is going to take this story and make a movie out of it. Because there's always some how do they say, when a movie begins, it's based on a true story. I guarantee somebody gonna make some money on this. But let's hear what's coming next though.
So we have the code section up that you're referencing for prosecuting attorneys getting additional personnel. That's what Mr. Wade would qualify as, correct?
Yes. So under B, that's the section that authorizes the appointment of special counsel. And it says the manner and amount of compensation to be paid is fixed by either local act or by the district attorney with the approval of the county. And so that's where, that's our argument that this was not appropriate expenditure because it did not have county approval.
Oh,
So
man.
our state law requires if a DA is going to go seek outside counsel, I'm going to call them, that must be approved by the county commission.
Yes, without a doubt.
And so this is another problem, guys. According to what is being discussed during this hearing, apparently when Fani Willis hired Nathan Wade is falling under the category of outside counsel, and apparently there needed to be, I believe she said, county approval on that, and that was not approved. So here we have another red flag. It was previously pointed out that Nathan Wade is being paid somewhere around, I don't know, at least 2 times more than that he's paying. Nathan Wade's rate is like 2 times more than pretty much any other attorney there working on this case, which is a red flag. Another red flag is that there's no documentation or itemization of what work was performed for the thousands of hours that were billed using taxpayer money. So this is not looking good here, guys. This is not good. And mind you, again, this case has been established to go after Donald Trump for alleged presidential election interference. But we're not talking about interference of any election right now. We've been talking more about the prosecuting attorney and their boyfriend for the longest. Jump in the comments because I got to hear what you guys are thinking about this. This is wild. This is I almost have no words. So Ellen Brennan, so nice to catch you during this live as well. I'm glad you're here to hang out with me. Appreciate you, Ellen. We got Ken Sweetster. Willis is caught on tape taking grant money for her own use. Really interesting, Ken. I'm gonna have to see if I can find that that tape because I didn't see that. Sarge 27271 says, okay, looks like you're talking to John. So this this is definitely some bombshell news here this evening. So I got Susan from the UK. We got Pamela Baker from North Dakota, former Tennessean. That is what's up. We got Carl up in here from Hull, England. Wow. Dale Osborne says, lock her up. Be Awesome says, public money is our money, right? It's taxpayer money. You're right. Public money came from the taxpayer, and if you happen to live in Fulton County, it was your money. But this is so crazy, guys. So Fani has shown that she feels like she's above Fani has shown that she feels like she's above the same laws that she would be prosecuting others for, right? So it's like she's doing the most while she has that position. And it's a lot of people are looking at this thing like, this is just totally unfair. What are you doing here, right? So turns out that DA Fani Willis has been dishonest all this time, or at least that's what it appears to be based on some of this testimony here. So I think we should all be thanking Ashley Merchant for uncovering all of this information that, it's funny. The prosecutors act like they have never done anything wrong. And it gives them this pass to go after others who have allegedly done some wrongdoing. And it's very interesting when you kind of like turn the table around and it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Anyway, Lori Minshew, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. Let's see. Oh man, Joshua Alvarez says Georgia got played. Fani milked Wade. Oh my God. Billy Lee says Alabama here, roll tide. Catherine Adamu, Nigeria here. What's going on, Nigeria in the house? Um, let's see. A lot of people talking about double standards here. So it's all coming out in the wash, as they say. Diverting public taxpayer dollars to pay your buddies. Is that right? Let me ask you the guys this. Is it okay to take taxpayer money, use it in a way that was not approved to be able to pay your boyfriend? If you know, if you think Fanny was right, just type in Fanny was right. If you think Fanny was wrong for doing that, type in Fanny was wrong. I want to see what you guys are thinking, because there's always two sides. There's always three sides to every story. There's, my story, your story, and the truth. So where are we with this here? Anyway, I really hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you haven't already, definitely hit the like button for the video. Subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share this video. We need to get this truth out so more people can understand what's really going on out here. I got so much more to share with you guys tomorrow. But that's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be safe.